Hi everybody, Kyle here. This is my fan mail to you for the month of August. These are very casual videos, you can tell, because the microphone is in the shot. We don't do edits on these. We, meaning me, I don't do edits on these. I kind of just take some notes and give you a behind-the-scenes look at some aspect of Easy Allies that I want to share with you. And this month, this is an easy one. I want to talk about PAX, because we're about to get on a plane tomorrow morning to go to PAX, but also it's kind of got an interesting history with myself and with Easy Allies, and so I thought that might be interesting to you. Hopefully I won't ramble too long on this one. I'm going to try to keep it entertaining, because that's the thing, is I do these every month, and sometimes I just ramble, and I truly wonder if I'm still being entertaining or if I'm simply giving you a burden as opposed to fan mail. It's just like, oh, here's a thing that I have to watch for 20 minutes. So I'm gonna be tight. Hopefully. Anyway, what I wanted to talk about PAX, I want to talk about the past and present. Because with Easy Allies, I think game trailers is still a big part of us. We wouldn't exist without game trailers. And personally, I had never been to PAX until 2013. That's the first year I started making internet videos even. That's the first year of Final Bossman of anything. And that was really cool to be able to go to PAX, to fly to Seattle, to be able to do that. I realize that fan's probably very distracting. Let me see if I can get that. Cool. You just get my heater now. That's what my heater looks like, everybody. Flying to Seattle was, for the first time, was really cool to see the city. It was a very stressful time for me, that trip, because I was also a producer of Annoyed Gamer. Marcus Beer hosted an opinionated weekly video game show about his own opinions and how annoyed he was at things. And so I had to produce that. We had a panel, which was really fun. That was me, Marcus Beer, and Michael Damiani, I believe. And as always, with E3 as well, but, I wanted to make a video. I wanted to go around the floor and make a funny video. At this time at Game Trailers, they would buy a crew for us, and they would pay for a crew, a camera person and an audio person would be working for you and filming anything you wanted. That was so nice. That was a nice time. And I remember I still didn't get a lot of time with them. I think like 3 hours, which isn't really enough. It sounds like a lot to shoot a 10-minute video. I definitely wanted more than that. And I remember making the video about indie games and talking to indie developers and stuff. I don't think it's a great episode, but it's fun. It was a fun episode, and it was interesting to talk to indie developers because I hadn't really at that point done any interviews with any game developers. And so while I was intimidated by that atmosphere and my limited knowledge of indie games, who's whom, I think it turned out okay. Anyway, let's talk about a year later. We are now owned by Defy Media. Was it really just 1 year, dude? Yeah. Dang. Yeah. So 2014, we were owned by Defy Media. They sent myself and Jones, and I think Ian too, out to do a panel that was a Defy Media panel. And so instead of this cool game trailers panel, we were like part of this panel of Gamefront and Escapist and game trailers, and there's just not a lot of overlap between these audiences, and so the panel was very strange. I remember Jones being so stoked to be there. We shared a hotel room. 2013, I got my own hotel room, baby. Viacom bucks. The year after, no, you got to share with Jones, which was fine. He's a fine guy to share a hotel room with. But definitely a way different PAX. The episode that I made of Final Bossman that year sucked. Again, I didn't have a lot of time, and I interviewed one person from the Behemoth about that game, which, by the way, is still not out. And the episode really stank, and when Ian and I were editing it that week, we just realized, like, there's nothing here. There's not a fun episode here, and so we just made it, we'd, like, did director's commentary over the episode, which was incredibly disrespectful to the person I was interviewing, but also to PAX and to anyone who appreciates the final Bossman. But yeah, I guess in that phase, I was in that phase of everything I'm doing is worse than it was previously. You know, it kind of just, it sucks to do a worse episode of something, and that absolutely was. And so I try to put some spin on it. And so I think that leads into a lot of why I don't do a ton of stuff today, is just I don't want to do worse versions of things I've already done before. And that was absolutely a worse PAX episode. It was hard to do that one. Anything else from 2014? Oh yeah, PAX was cool that year though. I got to talk to Hajime Tabata, forgive the pronunciation, but at that point he was just announced as director of Final Fantasy Type 0. No, he was already the director, but it was like, hey, it's coming to PS3 now. And PS4 is coming to PS4. That was really cool to be able to interview a director, and obviously there was a translator, but that was such a fun interview. I shared it with one other journalist. I can't remember the outlet, but we would bounce off. We would take turns asking questions. Mine were better, but that was fun. That was one of the funnest interviews I've ever done. And it was fun to do that with Jones. When Jones was like this, he had just become editor-in-chief, you know what I mean? And he was just coming into the role. He was just becoming Slick Rick. 2015, Defy Media did not send us to PAX. They did not send us there. 2016, we had just been fired. And actually, Easy Allies exists for a few months. Yeah. Last year we did. It's just too early. We couldn't go to PAX. We couldn't afford it. And that brings us now to this year. This year, Easy Allies is going to be at PAX. We have a panel. We have a panel at PAX. And I have to tell you, that is a huge deal. Sure. It's just three of us. It is just myself, Ian Hink, and Brandon Jones. Sure, the three of us are going to be in a hotel room with 2 beds. So again, we're further downgraded that way. But the upgrade is so much more in that feels like we kind of earned it, you know? I do think that, again, a lot of the reason Easy Allies is even possible is because of that momentum from game trailers. I think if we were 9 strangers who just popped up on Patreon, there's no way we would be at a fourth of where we are right now. So obviously we do owe everything to game trailers and that legacy and momentum. But it's cool to be here. It's cool to be in a situation in which we can go to PAX. And there's an uncomfortable thing that I don't like to talk about too much publicly, but hey, there's just 13 of you, right? When we go to PAX, that means everybody makes less money that month. So really, all of the money of Easy Allies is also everyone's salaries, and that makes things so complicated, because if you want a new camera, that's less money for everybody that month. And if you want to go to PAX, if 3 people go to PAX and everybody is paying for their flight. And so it's kind of this weird thing where only 3 of us get to go. 3 of us get this privilege of being in Seattle and getting to see PAX and having the panel and everything. Everyone else pays us to do it. And so there's a little bit of guilt there in the Easy Allies era. And so that's why we don't go to a lot of things. It's because we're not very rich in terms of expendable extra surplus income. And PAX, I think we can look at as a thing that we should be doing. It's an expense we can look at where we can say, and I think especially Jones loves this stuff, we look like one of the big boys if we're going to PAX. If we have a panel, he's so excited that the panel is the same day as Greg Miller's panel and IGN's panel. It looks good. It looks good, meaning that we're here. We exist. We're relevant. We can have a panel at PAX and people can come to it, hopefully. In my eyes, we're still small fries. I don't think we're going to fill out our room for a panel. Maybe we will. But yeah, it is meaningful to me that we have that panel at PAX, and I want it to be good. And it really is. It's just about Patreon. It's just about how we exist on Patreon, how that came together, and our plans going forward. It's going to be a tight hour. We don't have a long time for it. Jones has already broken down everything he wants to talk about, and I don't know. I could talk for an hour about the 2 months between getting fired and forming the Patreon. You know, that's interesting to me. But yeah, we got a lot of stuff to stuff in there. So really, yeah, I wanted to cover how going this year means a lot to me. It's it sucked in that 2015, was it 2014 year, having just been bought by Defy and was getting out to be sent out as a representative of Defy and doing that strange panel where we weren't really relevant. Most people there weren't there to see us, to do an episode where I wasn't given a lot of time to record it. It was weird. It was like already a year later after being on this huge high of being at my first ever PAX. A year later to just kind of like be over it was sad. And so it is really cool to be able to go back, right? After 3 years, to be able to go back to PAX and be relevant again is rare, and that's exciting. Something I like a lot about PAX, I realized I didn't structure this well. I promised it would be tight, and I'm already not tight. One thing I like a lot about PAX in particular as a panel as a convention, is how many things there are to do for people who are just there. At E3, it's open to the public now, but once the floor closes at 6 or 5, there's nothing to do anymore. And what's cool about PAX is that they have the rooms where you can go in and rent games, or they have an arcade room, or they have a tabletop room. They have lots of places to hang out, socialize if you're into socializing, play games and exist and feel a part of this big community. And that's something I really dig, and something I'm able to do as a small fry. I'm able to walk around PAX and not be bothered. I think like a Greg Miller is at that point where he can't. You know what I mean? And so, like, just to give you an idea of the spectrum, I'm still beneath that. I'm still able to walk around PAX and not and freely. I'm able to walk up to an arcade machine freely, and no one knows who I am, and that's pretty nice. It's pretty nice to not be known at PAX because it's cool to sift through those things. Obviously, I don't like to socialize, but I like to see the rooms. I like to walk around the rooms and see the games people are playing and things like that. I like that PAX doesn't sleep. I like that PAX goes very, very late. It makes it a kind of unique convention, and I'm way into that. Another thing we're doing this year that I'm a little nervous about, I'll be frank about this, is the meet and greet. This is something that Twitch set us up with. Because we're a Twitch partner, they wanted to know if we wanted space in their meet and greet room. And we said, heck yes, because when we do a meet and greet at PSX, we rented out a hotel ballroom, basically, which is not only expensive, but takes a lot of planning and coordination, and we had to move things into there. That's not really an option that we have up in Seattle. It's an option. It'd be extremely expensive. And so having Twitch supply us with that for free is incredible. We couldn't say no to that. What I'm scared of is that it's going to be kind of us at a table type of meet and greet where people wait in line and then we like talk to them from behind our desk while we sit down and they stand. I think that might be bad vibes. I'm not positive. We'll find out afterward. I don't know. I don't. Seems like you're treating people more as fans, you know what I mean, as opposed to your audience. And when I always choose to say audience over fans, or try to, because the difference between that is I think of myself as a part of many audiences, you know what I mean? And so calling someone a fan puts them in a different category than yourself. And obviously, yeah, people are fans of our stuff and they're fans of Easy Allies, but that separation I don't think is super helpful, especially when we're at our level. If we are movie directors and movie actors, yeah, maybe meet and greets are for fans, but where we are now, when we're just goofballs who live stream video games, that idea of that kind of meet and greet kind of puts me off. But again, we don't know what kind of audience size we'll get. We didn't know what to expect. It was absolutely free, and so not spending $1,000 or $2,000 or however much a ballroom costs is more money than for the rest of the allies to have at the end of a month. And so yeah, absolutely, it's the right call. We'll see though. We'll see. And I mean, that's kind of what I wanted to say about conventions as a whole. Is I think Easy Allies should go to more. We should. It's so weird. The game is so weird. The reason that GameSpot and IGN rent space on the E3 floor, I don't know if it's the added convenience or if it is to look more legit. And I think that conventions allow you to look more legit, absolutely. But also, Easy Allies isn't about getting the largest audience. We're about the opposite. We're about doing right by our small audience, which is still, I mean, absolutely very sizable, right? I'm talking comparatively to people who get hundreds of thousands of views on YouTube. We get 10% of that, right? We are less of a big deal, but yeah, I understand it's all relative. But I think conventions are good for that. It's good to meet your audience and have them see you, create memories with you. I know that photos are stupid, but I mean, you can't take that away. That is a moment captured forever of a time that you and I were in the same space, which I know it's not that big of a deal, but I really like photos. I've done like some autographs in my life. It never makes me comfortable to do an autograph. I love taking photos. Again, fans and audience, I think it might be about that difference, that separation. So yeah, I think we should do more, but I really think we're not rich enough. And I think that's such a weird separation. I think of like Defy. I can understand why they didn't send us to PAX in 2015. It's just expensive. It's a very expensive thing, and to rent a hotel room and to rent a plane, not buy plane tickets, I mean. And we get every time like, hey, y'all going to Gamescom this year, which is regular. It's regular for a video games outlet to go to Gamescom. It's just so expensive. I can't imagine sending 4 people to Gamescom on our budget, which is huge. Our budget is huge. But it's that thing. It's that thing where you say to the 5 people who wouldn't be going, hey, you're going to make less money this month so that 4 can go. And that is really, it's the root of it. It's this weird thing that we've got through Easy Allies. And so I think that, yeah, perhaps someday Easy Allies will be at a point where we're going to every convention possible, as we should be, representing ourselves and showing up and taking pictures. But currently, that's a limitation. And yeah, I don't know, 13 of you. I should have made a more positive video, right? That's why I like these. I mean, this is a way for us to personally connect. These are very personal videos. Just to tell you where I'm at with Easy Allies stuff. I'm very excited to do PAX. I always want the panel to be good. I'm nervous about the meet and greet, that the meet and greet won't make the people happy. I'm excited to check out games. I had a really good time at E3 just doing interviews about games. I'm hoping to be able to do more of those. And I'm a little happy I don't have to make a video. I'm happy I don't have to make if we were able to have a camera crew, if I was able to have a day with a camera person and an audio person and make like here's a microphone, go make a video, Kyle. Yeah, I would like that. And I think I could do a better one than I did in 2013, absolutely. But in this current era of Easy Allies, I'm good just appearing in Ian's videos. You know what I mean? I don't want to do a worse thing. I always want to do at least something different. Look forward to Box Peak, right? That is still like very, by the way, creatively rewarding for me. And like maybe more than any way of anything that I've worked on with Easy Allies so far. I love doing the betting specials. I love setting up like weird streams, and any creatively rewarding thing is really fun to work on for Easy Allies for me. Box Peak has been great. It's been really, really, really good. And so yeah, I look forward to you seeing that. It's not gonna be soon. It's a long time. It's taking forever, but I mean, it's going to be hopefully interesting. And so yeah, that's it. That's all I wanted to say. I did not want to say anything about Box Peak, but it came out. So there you have it. Everyone, thank you. Thank you for your support. Thank you so much for what you do. I'm incredibly apologetic that this has run so long. We're probably going to be over 20 minutes. I don't mean to do this like this. Also apologetic for saying we don't have enough money to someone who gives us as much as you do. Yeah, you know what? I'm sorry. It was a pragmatic discussion, but like also we make so much money that it's like, why even complain? Didn't mean to complain. Just meant to lay out why perhaps we aren't at more conventions, and why it's a big deal that we get to be at PAX. It's a big deal that we're going to PAX. It's a big deal that we have enough money to be able to do that and show ourselves, and that is a big deal. And I think it will be rewarding, and I hope that's cool. I hope it's really cool. And so yeah, thank you for everything you do for Easy Allies. Please don't think I don't appreciate it, because I do, and we do. I want to speak for all of us on that. Look, you have my email. This is the email I sent this to you is my Easy Allies email. I don't check it constantly. I'm really bad at my Easy Allies email, to be frank with you, but I do read them. And so if you ever want a direct line, if you ever want to say something nice or hurtful to me, you now have that power. Feel free to email me at any time. And thank you. Hope to see you around. That's it. Cool. That is my fan mail for the month of August.